Welcome, visionary. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the difference between a gate and a channel. This is a piece to human design I rarely hear anyone talking about. I'll see you on the inside. Yes, there are different names when a gate turns into a channel. So for example, we have the gate 1, the self-expression, creativity. We have the gate 8, which is called contribution. When we put the 1-8 together, we have the channel of inspiration. We see the separateness of the gate and the channel. We have different names for them. We know that there's something different when a channel happens because it defines the centers. We feel the difference within that. For example, projectors, their channels are actually what they need to understand for recognition. The channels are what they're here to actually be seen for. But what is that energy? What makes it different when it's a full channel and when it's a gate? Well, there's actually more to this than meets the eye. You see, the gates come from the I Ching. They literally come from different ancient mystical teachings. The I Ching is the book of change. Now, both the I Ching and the Kabbalah are ancient mystery schools. But what makes them different? You see, the channel comes from the tree of life, the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is not often understood. As a matter of fact, I rarely hear human design teachers talk about the Kabbalah, and understanding the depth of it, even for those scholars who research and study the Kabbalah, the depth of the knowledge is often misunderstood. And as a matter of fact, it's been said in the Jewish mysticism that at one time only men could study the Kabbalah, and only men of a certain age. It was that revered, it was that mystical, it was that much of a powerful study and experience that they tried to control it. So let's talk about the differences here. The I Ching is known as the Book of Change. It's one of the oldest and most revered texts. It has literally baffled scholars for centuries. It's so profound in its nature. It offers a timeless wisdom on the infinite nature of the universe and change. It's the principles of balance. The black, the white, the right, the wrong, the male, the female, the each, it's the yin, yang. So through this yin, yang, or broken straight lines, it shows the power of reading anything that has changed and explains how that change can reveal the mystical moment that you are in. So for example, how we can read the tea leaves in the moment, what we're looking at, how to read it, how we read the synchronicities, those magical moments that fit together that wow you and show you things about your life. Much of human design is based on the power of synchronicity. If you're a generator or a manifesting generator, your entire life should be responding to these synchronicities and understanding them in your own life and in your own chart. So the I Ching with the 64 hexagrams shows you how to read this inside your DNA code, and that is where we see the gates. We know the 64 gates correlate directly to the I Ching. So that's where your gates come from. Now, when we put the gates together in a channel, this energy of connection comes from the pathways of the Kabbalah. Now let's break down what these pathways are and what separates this from the I Ching. So the I Ching is reading these synchronicities, these moments of change in the moment. But the channel is the spiritual journey over time in the soul of your existence here on earth, your lifetime. I think the reason many people don't talk about the Kabbalah is because it hasn't really been shown where the 36 channels break down exactly in the pathways. So there's not a one-on-one connection. So I think the best way to really understand it is to feel the energy of what these pathways are and then correlate them to your channels. So pull out your chart and let's look at your channels and talk about your channels in terms of this ancient mystery school teaching of the tree of life. So the pathways, which are those roots on the tree of life that connect the Sephiroth, and the Sephiroth are what are called the centers in the tree of life. The pathways represent the challenges, the lessons, the insights, the journeys, spiritual awakenings that the soul encounters through their life journey. So each pathway correlates to a letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and it carries its own spiritual significance. If you study the Bible, Jewish or Christian, they all come from the original Torah. So when you have the New Testament or the Old Testament, right? The Old Testament is the Torah, and it originates from these spiritual codes. If you've read the Bible code, you know that you can study the power of these ancient alphabetical, it's written in terms of a crossword puzzle. And so if you input the original Testament or the Torah in a computer, you will find that the words that are found kind of like in a crossword puzzle. Now, this was only discovered when we got to the age of computers where we could enter this knowledge into a computer. All of those little passwords that were found, the correlations with the chapters and the words that were found were uncanny and unlike any other book in history. So you could enter in millions of books that have been written in history, and none have the level of crossword puzzle awareness. So at least 2 or 3 words in that chapter relate to what the Bible is talking about. So if you read the Bible code, it kind of shows you that the Bible was brought to us from wisdom beyond this world. And so when those letters are put together in certain ways, they have a very powerful and profound spiritual significance. Now, those 22 pathways do correlate to the tarot. Now, the tarot is not something that we talk about at all in human design. And I can understand why. There is a lot of negative connotations with the tarot. And so I'm not going to really bring that into this conversation, but just an interesting thing to note. So the spiritual journey of the pathway, which is your spiritual journey of your channels, is about ascending from the physical and the material world to the divine and the spiritual world, but practically with awareness of everything the material world is teaching us. It's a process of refining the self, overcoming the inner and outer obstacles, aligning with the divine will. The journey is not linear, it's cyclical and ongoing. Why your human design chart brings layers and layers and layers of awakening. Every cycle brings deeper awareness. Every ascent brings new levels of understanding, new levels of compassion, new levels of wisdom. You see, the tree of life is a map, it's a guide. It offers spiritual insight for the complexities of the human experience, for the potential of spiritual growth and transformation. I know Ra loved to put the woo or the new age in its box. But the minute you use the term Kabbalah as part of the system, you're bringing forward spiritual awakenings in people. That is what has happened to me through this study of my own human design chart. If you want to go deeper into understanding your channels and your gates, this is what I teach. This is where I'm going. This is the depth of the journey that we are about to embark on for those students going through my certification level 3, which is the gates and the channels. But you see, I bring the mysticism, I bring the spiritual awakening, I bring the tools you might need to go deeper into what's happening in your life. It all starts practically with what's happening in your world right now. How do we look at it on the physical? How do we learn from it? How do we expose the deeper levels of lessons so that we can rise up and get the spiritual awareness and let it transform our lives? It's a profound journey. And I just want to say thank you for all of you who are here with me on this journey. Whether you're listening to my YouTube videos, whether you're a part of our Facebook group, whether you are on my Instagram or listening in whatever area that you're listening in, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful to share the journey with you. And if you want to go deeper and you want to look at your chart and you want to study your gates and study your channels, come with me. Let's do this together. It's a profound experience. I'll leave more information in the description box below. Heart you, and I'll see you in the multiverse.